Tachyon and Light Halo was already the most anticipated upcoming banner, and the recent announcement just made it even better. That's because independent training, which is coming in 1.5 anniversary. Now, I already made a video going over the independent training in detail, so if you haven't watched it yet, make sure you check it out. Independent training is basically an autoplay option that lets you spark farm automatically in the background. One thing I was wrong in the previous video was saying that only the rarity and the limit break of the card matter, and the type and the stat of the support card doesn't matter that much. But after doing some more testing myself, I found that that's not entirely true. The type and the stat of the support card do in fact matters. As you can see, the support card usually gives the most stat in their main stat type. For example, speed card gives the most amount of stats on speed, and the power card giving the most amount of stats on power. You can also see that the power bonus on S-Maru having some impact on the amount of power stat that she gives. Also the speed stat from the speed bonus that Bamboo Memory Guts card has. That said, honestly, the extra stat from the support card still doesn't matter that much. The amount of stat that gives between each support cards is in fact pretty abysmal. As long as you can hit the 1100 or 600 stat threshold and reach SS rank or above for the better blue and the white sparks, any extra stats beyond that really doesn't change much. This is especially true because your stat doesn't even affect whether or not you win your G1 race for affinity during your career. Like I mentioned on the last video, the race result in independent training are based solely on your Uma's aptitude, not their stats. So my original recommendation still stands. Focus on support cards with good skill hints. In my opinion, there's still the higher priority than hitting the perfect 1100 stats or SS rank. And although I couldn't confirm this myself, according to Mumukow's editor, Catcher LP, you can consistently get SS rank in Grand Life scenario with independent training. However, one thing I didn't fully take account on my last video is how strong the SP bonus cards are in independent training. Cards with SP bonus are extremely OP here. Cards with SP bonus gives about 50 to 100 more SP when compared to other cards with 0 SP bonus. But you know what's better than 1 SP bonus card? That's right, Agnes Tachyon with 2 SP bonus. Here's how Agnes Tachyon card compares to other SP bonus card. Agnes Tachyon gives more SP than any other cards that's currently out in global, except for Harura power card. But out of all the meta SSR card that people are likely to MLB, Agnes Tachyon comes out on top. I also want to give a shout out to SR Sweet Tosho. Even though she's an old SR card from the very beginning of Uma Musume, she's actually one of the best cards for you to use on the independent training. She gives a great skill hint to skills like Lone Wolf, Slipstream, and After School Stroll. Even when compared to future meta card, Agnes Tachyon will still be a top tier. Here's Agnes Tachyon compared to Jungle Pocket. You see that she still gives more SP compared to Jungle Pocket. Only when Elkonder's speed card comes out, she will lose her first position as the speed card with highest SP output. But even then, she will still be a must-include card. They will just be run together on the same deck. But you might be thinking that 40 to 100 additional skill points, that's only like one additional skill that you can get on your parent's Uma. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but more SP means that you can get more skills on your Umas. That improves your chance of getting better white sparks on your parent's Uma, which makes them stronger, and stronger parents makes even stronger offspring, and it just keeps going and going, and you'll be able to create a better Umas. The difference might seem small at first, but over hundreds of run, it will start to snowball really hard. The gap between trainers running properly optimized decks and a random one will become massive as the time goes on. Also, come what may, which you can get from Agnes Tachyon as a scenario link bonus, gotten a massive buff on the July 1st update. This makes her even stronger for the 2 medium CMs that we'll have during the Grand Concert scenario. But keep in mind that to activate this skill, you need to be on 2nd to 5th position, so the front runners won't be able to utilize the skill. But every other strategy will benefit a lot from this skill on the medium distance champions meeting. She also gives a hint for strong medium skills, such as up-tempo, medium corner, and medium straightaway. Basically, she'll be one of the best cards for medium distance, even for non-pace chaser. And that's even beyond Grand Concert. Agnes Tachyon was already an insane card before this update, but with all the changes on global, she will become even stronger support card. So if you have enough carrots to pull on this banner, I would highly recommend you to go for MLB Agnes Tachyon. But what about Light Halo, the other card on the same banner? Light Halo is a scenario PAL card that's an auto-include in pretty much every deck during Grand Concert scenario. And that stays true even in independent training. Scenario PAL or group cards makes a huge difference. Cards like Light Halo buffs every other support cards in your deck, giving more stats and more skill points. As you can see, the amount of skill points that you get almost double if you run Light Halo in your deck. So if you do not run the scenario link card, you'll be losing a lot of potential stats and SP on the independent training. Overall, scenario PAL or group card gives about 10% more stats and skill points compared to decks without the scenario PAL card. And here's the skill point difference at different limit break for Light Halo. As you can see, MLB gives the most amount of skill points, and at 2LB and 1LB, the drop between the MLB to 2LB and 1LB is only about 3%, so it's not that significant. But once you get to 0LB or not running Light Halo at all, there's a significant drop off. It's basically necessary for you to have at least 1LB scenario link card for any scenario you want to run independent training. And it seems like this is the most cost-effective limit break goals that you can aim for. And remember, at 2LB, she also gives 10% training effectiveness. So between Light Halo and Agnes Tachyon on this banner, which one should you prioritize? Ideally, you want to get both, but depending on your budget or your pull luck, you might have to choose one or the other. In that case, I would highly recommend you to prioritize MLB Agnes Tachyon over Light Halo. Yes, technically, Light Halo does give you more skill points when compared to Agnes Tachyon, but she's only really useful for this one scenario, which is Grand Concert. But Agnes Tachyon with her 2 SP bonus will continue to be used on a future scenario and will stay meta and be useful long after Grand Concert is over. So I would highly recommend you to go for MLB Tachyon over Light Halo, even if it means that you have to borrow Light Halo during the whole scenario. But hopefully, you'll get at least 1LB Light Halo while you're chasing for MLB Tachyon on the upcoming banner. But if you have 0 carats saved for this banner, just pray you get at least 1LB copies from the free pulls. Then you can at least borrow MLB Tachyon during the Grand Concert scenario. So which is the best scenario for a parents run once independent training drops? Without a doubt, the answer to that question is our Grand Concert. No other scenarios will consistently give you enough stats to reliably hit SS rank with independent training. It also gives you the most amount of SP. While Grand Concert is known to be a training-focused scenario where you do not go on an optional race, that only matters for Ace run. For Parents run, it does not matter. You can go on many optional races you want. Still, when you're playing manually, Trackblazer will still be the best scenario for spark farming. But for independent training, Trackblazer will actually be one of the worst scenarios since independent training do not have any rival race. It will be useless on Trackblazer scenario. And Trackblazer do not have any scenario PAL card. And you've seen how much difference scenario PAL cards make on your other sport cards on your independent training. So unless you're willing to do Parents run manually on Trackblazer scenario, since it has no rival race or scenario PAL card, Trackblazer will basically be dead once the independent training comes out. The Devil scenario has finally exploded. So how do you best utilize independent training once independent training arrives? Without a doubt, once this feature comes out, there's going to be a massive knowledge gap between trainers. Before, you could kind of close this gap just by doing additional grinding and doing more runs than your opponents. But now that everyone can auto farm in the background, that's no longer the case. People running a random deck on the independent training will start to fall off compared to trainers with more knowledge and running an optimized deck. So here's how you can fully utilize independent training to your advantage. First, prioritize sport cards with SP bonus and key skill hints for the upcoming CMs. After you decide which Umas that you want to run and which strategy that you want to aim for, plan out which parents' Umas that you want to build and figure out what kind of white sparks that you need to get from your parents. Then you pick those sport cards trying to get those skill hints so that you can get necessary white sparks on your parents' Uma. Then you just run it on repeat in the independent training factory until you get the perfect parents with the perfect sparks that you need for your ace Umas. So yeah, these are my findings regarding independent training. I'll drop the link to the spreadsheet where I kept track of all my numbers and my findings. There are probably folks who can better utilize my numbers to find out the exact formula of how independent training works. So feel free to freely use them to your liking. Please keep in mind that these are based on my initial findings from my small amount of samples. So it's totally possible for new information to come out and this guide needs to be updated. Once this feature comes out and more tests are done by other trainers, we'll find out exactly how this feature works and how we can best utilize this feature to train our Umas. And even if you're not 100% sure what to do, going by what Japanese trainers are doing in the Japanese servers, we'll probably see other community members in the global server who come up with the guide for best deck for the independent career with the race schedule and the skill hints for you to aim for. So yeah, that's it for today's video. What do you think about this feature? How will you be utilizing this feature on your account? And what are you most excited for? Please let me know in the comment below. And let me know in the comment if you'd like me to make another video with recommended deck and race schedule for the independent training. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you have a handsome day. Bye bye. And I would like to thank my handsome contributor, Exhalation Xpop0, and my pretty contributor, Joe Ariel 1, and my other contributor, Cal the Noob, First X, Damon Taylor, Braggle, Katie, Vito Gizmore, Thomas Toshio Toyama, Elbordo Obando Barahona, Akurai 47, X Papes, and rest of the contributor. Thank you so much for your support.